Mark. Hello Transport Evolved. Happy Thursday afternoon. I say afternoon, but I have no natural illumination in here. Light. What's that? The only thing I have is this big bright thing on the end of a tall pole that I plug into the electricity. Knowledge is good. I don't care what you say. Any kind of knowledge to help people learn how to drive their cars better, be better car owners, and be better informed car owners is only going to help us save energy and in the end have better things for the whole world. So many people said, no, gee whizzes are a bad idea. Secondhand EVs are a bad idea. I was completely surprised at the number of people who went, oh my God, no, you would never ever get anybody driving an old EV. As you rightly said, quite a lot of people went, no, I wouldn't even drive a current generation EV. I have to wait for the next generation car before I would advocate people drive it. And that's quite shocking to me, especially as someone who's been driving EVs since 2006, 2007. So I can understand where people are coming from, because nowadays maybe I wouldn't advocate people go back and drive some of the cars that I did in the past. But at the time, I remember advocating people gave them a go and I let people drive them and they loved them. So maybe that question changes with time, and maybe you're right. Maybe in 5 years' time, we'll be saying, no, don't drive a first generation Nissan Leaf, it's rubbish. The 200-mile EV, you said, is going to be the kind of the tipping point at which EVs are going to kind of pass into the second-hand market. And I think that's probably right. And you said, you know, our cars won't make it. Now, I plan to keep my car if I can and take it to the States. I would love to do that. I might not be able to do that, but my plan is to keep my Leaf and to upgrade the battery pack when larger battery packs become available, because I want to try and keep my car as long as possible. One of my closest friends, in fact my best friend, I call her my evil twin, has a car that she's owned since she was 13. The car itself was made in 1969. She's had that car since the early 1990s, and she plans on converting it to electric. And so I'd like to have an electric car that lasts, you know, that lifetime. Whether it will or not, I don't know. Musk, business rentals. I think this is all about Tesla just trying to achieve its goal, which is to get as many people in a plug-in car and away from petrol as it possibly can, you know, moving forwards. And the Roadster wasn't the right car for business leases because it would have been, you know, very impractical for the majority of business trips. But the Model S is the great car for business trips and long distance trips. You know, it's supercharger capable, especially on the west coast of the US, on the east coast of the US. And now if you live in the right part of the middle of the US, you can get from point A to point Z really quite quickly using supercharger networks. And so you can put your suit in the back. You can do a 500-mile business trip in the Model S, which is something that you could never do before in a luxury car. And I think that's one of the reasons why Tesla is kind of targeting the business marketplace, because business people should think with the balance sheet in the back of their head. They should be mindful of the company books when they buy a company car, when they lease a company car. And Tesla's going to businesses, hey, this is a way of you being able to save money as a business, and also be more responsible towards the environment. So I think it's a win-win-win. But what I want to talk to you today about, Mark, I want to talk to you about owner meetups. This weekend, you and I will be at BVOB, Battery Electric Vehicles of Bristol. It's a local group, which I happen to have founded about 6 or 7 years ago. And our local meetup this weekend, you can find out more about it by going to bevob.eventbrite.co.uk. If you sign up, it's free, you can just turn up. But you can register for tickets so we know how many people are coming. But my question to you about EV meetups is, are they a good thing for EV drivers? Does the EV community need it? If you are an EV driver, should you go to EV meetups, or are they just for kind of quite geeky, nerdy people like you and me to talk about conversions and ins and outs of charging stations and politics and all that? Or does anybody who's thinking about buying an EV get something positive out of them? I'd be interested to see what you think. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I will see you on Monday. Goodbye, Mark. Goodbye, Transport Evolved.